Hi, in this video, we're going to be working on Chapter 5 for Week 4. Chapter 5 covers how to make user-defined functions to be able to break your program down into smaller parts. So the first example we're going to look at is going to be for stadium seating. There are three seating categories at a stadium. Class A seats cost $20, Class B seats cost $15, and Class C seats cost $10. We're going to write a program that asks how many tickets for each class of seats were sold, then display the amount of income generated from the ticket sales. Okay, so go ahead, I'll move this over. We'll get started in Python. So get Python started here. And then open up a new file. So first thing we're going to do is get three constants. So we're going to have, whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. We're going to have Class A seats. They're $20. Class B seats are $15, and Class C seats are $10. Now, the book does this a little bit different than I do, so I'll move it around a little bit. But we're going to start off with our main function, lowercase. So in main, what we're going to do is tie everything together. We're going to do all the input from here and the calculations, which we could split off, but this one's just going to be showing you how to do some of these. So we're going to have count assets are going to be equal to an int input enter count of A seats. And we have count, whoops, it should be A seat, looking at it wrong. Then count B seats is going to be the same thing. Put the right keys here. So, and then count C seats. There we go. Okay. What we want to do is calculate the income for each of these. So the income for A seats is going to be equal to count A seats times class A seats. Income B seats equal to count B seats times class B seats, and then our income C seats is count C seats times class C seats. Right? And then what we want to do is display these, and we're going to do that by calling a function called show income. Show income, then we got to pass in our income for A seats, our income for B seats, and our income for C seats. So in here, we have DEF stands for definition, so we're defining, and actually this needs to be over here. Okay. Show income is the name of our function. And then these are called parameters, where we're going to pass values into income A seats, income B seats, and income C seats. Okay. So down in here, our total income is going to be equal to income A seats plus income B seats plus income C seats. And then what we want to do is display the values here. Now, before I do that, I'm going to say what would have been a little bit better on this example would have been if we would have created a function to enter the values. And there is a way to do this, even though there are 3 different values that we're entering here. And then to do the calculations, right? And then do the show income. But we'll leave it this way for this example here to show you this on here. So now what we want to do is our print statements. So we're going to print F income from class A seats colon space $ curly brace income A seats colon, I'm going to do a comma dot to F and curly brace quote parentheses. Okay, now these are going to be the same except for switching them to B and C. So I'm going to do a copy of that and then paste these in here, and I just have to change the A here to B and the A here to B and the A here to C and the A here to C. Okay. Now what I have to do is call, oh, lift one out, sorry. Need to do our total. And so we're going to print out total income, $ curly brace, total income, colon, comma dot to F, and curly brace and quote and parentheses. Okay, so now what we have to do is call main, and that's just main parentheses and parentheses. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this saved. And I'll switch to where I want to save it here. This is week 4. And just call it stadium.py and save this. And let's run it and see how it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put 1 in for each of these. Oh, didn't print anything. And that's because in here, I never called show income. So what I need to do is under here, I need to have a line that actually calls show income. And then we have to pass in the values. Income A seats, income B seats, and income C seats. And to let you know, even though these are matching up here with the names, they do not have to be the same names. We could have put A, B, and C in one of these and ran it that way. Okay, so let's go ahead and run this again. And we'll save it. I'm going to do 1 again for each of these. Yep. So A's is 20, 15, and 10. And the total was 45. Now I can run it again and put in quite a few. And let's say for A seats, we sold 250. B seats, we sold 215. and C seats we sold 498. So we sold $5,000 worth of A seats, $3,225 for B seats, and $4,980 for C seats. Sold a total for a grand total of $13,205. Okay, so hopefully this helps you out on seeing how to create functions and how to break this down. Like I said, these two sections here could have been put into functions also, but this particular program didn't do that. Let's see, I've got another example here. Let's see if this breaks it down a little bit more. Actually, it doesn't, but it does. This one's going to be using random numbers. So let me pull this over and we can look at this and you can see on this one it does have one function on there. So we're going to write a program that generates a random number in the range of 1 through 100 and asks the user to guess what the number is. If the user's guess is higher than the random number, the program should display too high, try again. If the user's guess is lower than the random number, the program should display too low, try again. If the user guesses the number, the application should congratulate the user and generate a new random number so the game can start over. We have an optional enhancement is to enhance the game so it keeps count of the number of guesses that the user makes. When the user correctly guesses the random number, the program should display the number of guesses. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and do this one here. Chapter 5 included random numbers in it, so and I'm going to do a new file. Close this one, so I don't need it anymore. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is get random in here. Random is not part of the main part of Python. It is a library, built-in library that we can use. But we have to import it in. So we import random. Okay, so in our main, and just a second here, I want to see how this is working. Okay, we'll set it up the way that it has it here, and then we may modify it. Okay, so number is going to be equal to 0, and play is going to be equal to 1. So we're going to do a while loop. A play is greater than 0. Number is going to be equal to random, and call our library, dot rand int. So randint is how they pronounce it. That's going to be our method or a function, and we're going to pass it in 1 to 100. So we wanted to create a random number that's between 1 and 100. Return that back, and it will be stored into number. And then play is going to be equal to play guessing game, passing in number. Once we get done with that, we're going to print. Oops, sorry. Thanks for playing. Okay, so then we're going to create our function. Play guessing game. And we have to pass in number. We'll just use the same variable name. We could use a different one, but I'll use that. So now we're going to need to get a user guess. That's going to be equal to an int input enter a number between 1 and 100. And I got a little bit more to put in here, so I'm going to go ahead and close that off and put a backslash on here to go to the next line. Or 0 to quit. Okay. See, now we couldn't do that up here. We could have if we would have set this up right. We could have put in user guess equals input, enter a number between 1 and 100, or 0 to quit. We could have put that up here before the while loop, and then while play, so they use play here instead of user guess. I would have used user guess on there, and then set all this up and play and call this, and then have them put in another one on there. It's just the way that they have this set up is it doesn't work real well, but we'll go ahead and do it this way because this is the way that they have it. I didn't have time to redo it, so I'm gonna do a while loop. While user guess is greater than 0, if user guess is greater than number, then our guess is too high, so we'll print out too high, try again. Else if user guess is less than number, we will print let me think here. Okay, so we need to go ahead and do this again. So I'm going to capture this here. Control C, because that has to go in here. We need to have them do this again. Okay, and then else if user guess should be less than number, then we'll print too low, try again. And then we have to have them enter the number again on there. Else, if it's not too high and it's not too low, then it has to be just right. We'll print congratulations, you guessed the right number. Okay, and then we're going to return user guess to start the game again. Okay, then we'll come out here, because if it doesn't do this in here, we got to do something on here. So we're going to return, and then this is outside the while loop. Return user guess because then if they put in a 0 here, then we'll stop because they put in a 0 on there. Okay. And then we'll call main. Okay. Not real happy with the way they have this set up. We'll see how much time we have if we're going to redo this or not. Probably not. We'll just add another feature in here that I want to do. So let's go ahead and get this saved. I'm going to call it guessing game.py and save that. And we'll run this and see if I got any errors in here. Okay, enter a number between 1 and 100 or 0 to quit. Okay, so this is going to be our first guess. Now, if we just randomly guess numbers, we're not going to get anywhere. It's going to take a long time to do this. But if you split it in half each time, first time we guess 50. If it says that well, let's do that. We'll do 50. Okay, it's too low. So we know it can't be between 0 and 50 because our number's too low. It's got to be more than 50, so it's got to be between 50 and 100. So I'm going to guess 75. Let's try to split it again. Now our number's too high, which means it's between 51 and 74. So what I would do is take 51 and 74, add them together, get 125, divide that by 2, and get 62, and use 62 as my number. I'm still too high. So now I know it has to be between 51 and 61. So I take 51 and 61 and get 102, divide that, and I get 56, and I'll use 56 as my number. Now I'm too low. Okay, so I know it has to be between 57 and 61, or 51, sorry. So that now I got 118, which is going to be 59. So I'll try that one. Still too low. Only have one number left because we know it's not 61, and we know it's not, so it has to be 60. 61. Okay, so I was off on my numbering there a little bit, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is the maximum number of tries that you would have to do with 100 numbers if you did it this way. If we were guessing a number between 1 and a million, the most guesses you'd have to do if you did the breakdown correctly would be 20. Okay, so now if we wanted to play this again, we could, or we can enter 0 to quit. Okay. So that's the guessing game here. Shows you a function in here. Okay, play guessing game. And it has a while loop in here. So has a few things to it, and it has random numbers. So look these over, and hopefully this helps you out with understanding the concepts of Chapter 5. Bye.